work out. Those supplements do me no good, and that's what's happening right now. You know, parents are so caught up because of this economy, because they're the only parent in the home, where there is so many more hazards now attacking that family, that home. Where, you know, I mentioned earlier, like maybe this single mom has a live-in boyfriend who she doesn't really know much about, and all of a sudden he's doing things to her child and traumatizing that child. You know, and this cycle started back in the late 70s, early 80s, when the stigma of being a single mom started to digress. And it started in the bigger cities, and being that I lived in LA, I saw it more there. But when I moved over here in 1995, I started to see a lot of the urban behavior starting to trickle into more of a traditional community like this. And now look where we find ourselves, you know, with gangs and all these type of things, because a lack of boundaries. You know, lack of boundaries and discernment is really causing a lot of this. And so parents really need to realize that, hey, you know, don't compromise the well-being of your child just so you can put a couple of more hours at work and give them guilt money to make up for the time you're not there to bond with them. And those twilight hours. I mean, when I was a child, the most mischievous hours was right after school until mom got home around 6, and you can do a lot of damage within an hour and a half.
Well, and another statistic, thank you for bringing that up, Jose, is when I did a program for Teacher Association here in the city, that came out was, guess the prime time use of the phone for children and teenagers during the day, midnight till 5 a.m.
I can't even tell you how many times I got caught on the phone.
Absolutely, that's replaced, you know. And then they have dummy phones, you know, and have the other phone. I mean, they've got, I mean,
phones and gaming.
Sneakier.
I mean, when you think about media,
if
gaming,
you think at
very young ages, our children, they know how to use cell phones, they know how to text, they know how to get online, and they're accessing video games that are often violent, have violent content. At an age where their brain is developing and they're forming those belief systems. It gets imprinted on their brain. We've normalized violence and glamorized it, the media does in some ways.
That's true.
And I don't want to miss something, excuse me for cutting you off, it's because it's very important. It still has to do with this question where I deal with a lot of guys that are into the hip-hop thing, and I'm not knocking hip-hop, but one thing I try to get through these guys and girls is there's a difference between entertainment and influence. If you're listening to music to entertain you, if you're watching a movie to entertain you, if you're going to this concert to entertain you, great. But if you're allowing it to influence and dictate your decision making, that's where it becomes an issue. You know, because a lot of these rappers that are wearing this $500,000 necklace and they're in front of a project home that doesn't even cost $15,000. It's like, come on, guys, he's deceiving you. I mean, his necklace is worth more the entire project almost. And it just goes to show how prone we are to deception. And if somebody can keep you deceived, they can keep you defeated.
Absolutely.
So,
Reba, Jose, let me come to this last question. So we would, because I want to cover this one. What can we do about this? What can we do about this change of female bullying? And then we got the boys trying to compete, and so there's more of that, of their violence and bullying. What can parents do? Churches, you know, Valley Hospital, else, you know, what can we do that we're not doing?
Well, I think that we can educate our young folks in how to be assertive without being aggressive. Parents can certainly limit the technology and their access to it. I think that's really important to know what their children are accessing and what they're doing. I think there are some programs. I've heard of a program that the justice system has called Restorative Justice, where they implement programs to help pull people together to discuss incidences and also promote healing between the parties that are involved in bullying. So I think those are a few things. And what would you like to add?
Jose?
That was right on cue, because I've been working around the clock with my team for a good 3 months, creating an organization that will number one, we'll have internal services where we'll have a personal development program for adults. It's a hybrid program. It's much more than just anger management, because anger management to me is just a byproduct of something else. So we talk about financial stewardship, because debt can cause you to be desperate and turn you into something you're not. And then just all the different topics that are out there, you know. substance abuse and addiction and things of that nature. So we'll be addressing that. And then also we have something for the adolescent advisement. It's geared and more age appropriate for teens, because a lot of times there's a lot of wayward teens that need to become worthwhile adults. And we have a program in place that is engineered to do that if the child or the teen buys into the content, because we realize that we can't force people to change, but we need to be bold enough, courageous enough, have access to places where we can present information that can create change if embraced. So some of the external services, we're going to start going into schools, into correctional institutions, into churches as well, because there's a lot of patriarchal, thinking, because the Bible does not say that men are a superior sex. It just says we're a stronger vessel. That's just a vehicle. Right. The last time I checked, a vessel is a vehicle. It just means you're physically stronger. It doesn't mean you're more intellectual or more brilliant or whatever you want to call it. So it's just, there's a lot of subtle error out there. It looks true, but it isn't true. It's just tweaks. So if we can go out there and reach these ill-advised individuals, chances are that's all it's really going to take, versus trying to give them pills to alter their mind when really they just need to renew their mind. You see what I'm saying? So we really want to go out there, and we have a very diverse team to reach a diverse population. So hopefully,
Well, Reba Bells?
Yes.
Jose Perez, thank you for being with us.
Thank you as well.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And this is Dr. John Olam signing off until I see you again for another segment of Point of View.
Closed captioning provided by the following.
Mocha Restaurant and Music Lounge is where jazz meets soul. Enjoy lunch Tuesdays through Fridays, dinner on weekdays, and live performances every weekend. Meet colleagues for lunch or friends for karaoke. Visit us on the web or call 423-531-4154. With locations in Chattanooga and Cleveland, Sharon Senior Services is licensed by the state of Tennessee to provide quality care for the elderly and disabled. Sharon Senior Services is a choices provider and accepts VA funding, long-term care insurance, and private pay. Sharon Senior Services wants to take care of those who once took care of you.